Internet! My name is Catherine Barsonistas, and you are watching the Gluttonous Geek Presents Munchies and Minis, and we are actually starting on our third season tonight with a recipe from the video game / tabletop role-playing game Shadowrun Dragonfall. Now, if you've never played these games before, if you're a fan of the Baldur's Gate series or any of the top-down type of RPG game, computer games, you are very much in a treat. This game is very much within that format. There is role playing, and it's just a lot of fun. Yes, season 3 hype time is now unlocked. Oh gosh, yes, Strike. That was fantastic and excellent, and I love it. Thank you so much for joining. Yes, so holy crap, we actually managed to get my kitchen clean and my energy up enough to do some streaming this week. I promise you this will not be the last time this month. I promise. So yes, as I was saying, from this game, there is the recipe we are making tonight is for Kreuzberg soya currywurst. So if you play this game, we come upon this scene, and it's a scene right before you're about to storm essentially what is sort of a skinhead headquarters. Except those skinheads are discriminatory not only against, the usual minorities, but also against metahumans, i.e. dwarves, orcs, elves, as well as, I think it's trolls? Yes, it's trolls, if we're looking at the right franchise with Shadowrun. And right before your main character happens to go in it, there is a food cart. In that food cart is a rather absolutely terrible currywurst. We're not making it terrible, because why would you want to learn how to make something terrible? Unless, I don't know, you're watching Epic Food Time or something. So, today we're going to be making a soy-based currywurst. Now, if you've never heard of currywurst, it is a German dish, fast food, street food, where basically someone had fried up some bratwurst, sliced it up, and then combined curry powder with ketchup and served it along with that. It's very German, I can tell you that. But since this is also the Shadowrun universe, where, meat is not exactly the most easy to get a hold of, it's incredibly expensive, not really something that you would be finding in a street food vendor's cart, certainly. Most protein is actually soy-based, so we're going to be using some tofu, as well as some tofu skin, to make up the protein base of our currywurst. First thing you're going to need to do is press the majority of the moisture out of your tofu. Now, I have a 12-ounce block, which is the standard size you're going to find in most grocery stores of extra firm tofu. First, I got to open and drain that, because it comes packed in water. But even though it is extra firm tofu, there still is excess moisture that you are going to want to drain out of it before using it in culinary preparation. So first I'm just going to drain all the water out of this package. Just there we go. Next, you want to take a plate and line it with a few layers of paper towels. So I'm just going to get that there. Switch to our prep cam here. About 3 layers on there right now. I'm just going to take this block of tofu right here, pop it out, top it with some more paper towels. I'm going to probably just add about 2 more on top of that, 1 or 2 more on top of that. Then I'm going to take a flat surface, i.e. small cutting board. You want something that happens to be at least as wide as your block of tofu. And then I'm going to stick something heavy on top of it. That something heavy is going to be a scented candle that I happen to have in my kitchen. So we're just going to stick that over here for now. You can also use, keep in mind that you can also use a canned food item or of some sort, at least, I don't know, 2 or 3, like 1 or 2 pounds. But yeah, you're going to want to let that sit and kind of get the rest of the moisture out within about 30 minutes, which is good because that's about the amount of time we're going to need until we need it. Because now we're going to get to this, the next step, which is we're going to be needing to I wouldn't say rehydrate our tofu skin because our tofu skin is already hydrated. Most of the time when you find these in most Asian supermarkets or online, you're going to find this in the dried version. You're going to want about 100 grams, i.e. 2 ounces, roughly about, of 3.5 to 4 ounces of dried tofu skin. This is rehydrated. We're going to cut out about 1/4 of it, so this is about 9 ounces. We're going to cut about around 2 ounces or so. Probably a bit more than that, considering that it's about 9 ounces instead of 8, but it's going to all equal out anyway. We're going to be infusing this tofu skin here with the standard bratwurst flavor, which is usually a mix of veal. I was close. Veal and pork. I don't really have any access to any veal bouillon, but I do have beef bouillon and ham bouillon. So if you have a chance to get a handle on some... Where did my ham bouillon go? Ham bouillon! Because yes, flavored powders, i.e. ramen packet bouillon packet type things, are all the rage in the Shadowrun universe. So we're going to be using that as well. So I'm going to need about only a half a cube of this, as well as... Whew, that scotch is not kicked in yet. Oh boy. But yeah. I made half a cube, and I'm going to need about a teaspoon of beef bouillon powder. So, I'm just going to find where the heck to unwrap this thing. Screw it. I'm just going to cut it open. These little plastic covered thingies are going to be the bane of me. Alright. So as you can see, this stuff's already rehydrated, and it's quite big. Like, holy crap, that's big. So, let's see, there's about 3 sheets of this, it looks like. Or 2 sheets. Once I get this all unfolded, I'll be able to see. I will admit this is the first time I've actually ever used this stuff, so do have patience with me yet. It is in two sheets, and they're not the exact same size. That's okay. I only need about 1/4 of it. Let's see if I can give a little bit more perspective here. See what I'm working with. Okay, so I'm seeing squares that are about equal amounts. So 1, 2, 3. That's about 9 squares. Plus 12. 9 and 12 is 21. I think. Yes. I can math. No, that's not correct. Yes, it is. Yes. 21. Right. So 21 divided by 4. Well, my ADHD brain is telling me we're going to start out, we're going to do about 6 squares. That's a little bit more. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait, My brain. Yes. We're gonna do about 6 squares of it. There we go. That'll do. And this stuff... Did I already throw away the package? God, I hope I didn't. This is where my brain is tonight. No, I didn't. There it is. Just gonna fold that up. I can math. Kind of. It's been a busy day at work. Let's just say that. Very busy day, working from home, while also trying to write up my Wonder Woman blog post, which was also part review of the film Wonder Woman 1984. Alright, there's my tofu skin. You need about a half a cube of ham stock bouillon. Of course, I need also a pot to cook this in. We'll use this one. Okay, so what you want to do is put your tofu skin in there. I'm going to go ahead and just cut that up into smaller pieces so it's easier to cover. Alright. Now, if you're using dried tofu skin, you'll want to put it into some warm water and just let it sit until it rehydrates completely. Don't really need to do that with this. So, first I'm just going to cover this with water. And then, I'm going to add half cut that up a little bit more. There's the ham, stock bouillon, stock cube bouillon thingy. I can talk. All right, Catherine, breathe, 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 breathe. Ooh. Excellent. All right, and a teaspoon of beef bouillon, or half a beef bouillon cube. Basically, you know how good way to kind of go by it is that most bouillon cubes tend to either be in the 1 cup or 2 cup variety, as in 1 cube will either be enough bouillon for a single cup of water or 2 cups of water. That was a 2 cup one. You essentially want enough bouillon for a total of 2 cups of water. And my beef bouillon has kind of caked up on itself. It's okay, it still works. It's going to be rehydrated anyway. So, got that going. And now I'm just going to switch to my stove cam and get that boiling. So I'm just going to put that over about a medium flame to get that going, and then go back and read my own instructions. Let's see here, I want to cook it for about 20 to 30 minutes until all that liquid absorbs into the tofu skin. By that way, I'm also infusing that tofu skin with all that beef and pork flavor to kind of give us that sort of bratwurst flavor in our soy currywurst. So while I am waiting on that to, well, get to a simmer. I mean, you want to kind of have it at a steady simmer, just kind of cooking and boiling, as long as it doesn't boil over. You're good. Whew. And next up, I just need to get together the rest of my ingredients for kind of a mise en place sort of thing. So, for that, I will be needing a bowl. We'll start with a bowl here, because to get a proper bratwurst flavor, you also want to incorporate the following spices. We're going to be using some white pepper, some ground coriander, and nutmeg. And we're also going to be adding some grainy mustard into the mix as well. Kind of turn that upside down. And I am realizing that I am completely switched over. Let's fix my camera. No wonder it's messing with my head right now. It shouldn't be hands going from the bottom, it should be hands from the top. Let's fix that. Properties. Flip vertically. There we go. Yay. We're back in the clear. Yay. Okay. So, to get these spices together, we are going to need measuring spoons, obviously. And I'm going to take about let's see here, half a teaspoon of ground nutmeg, half a teaspoon of white pepper, and plus whatever happened to get onto my nutmeg tray. It'll be fine. And, coincidentally enough, a half a teaspoon of ground coriander. And that's gonna make me sneeze. Yep, there it goes. Right. I'll be fine. Ah. Oh boy. Let's get the white pepper off my cutting board. I'm gonna wet that first. Otherwise I'm gonna make my cat sneeze. I don't think I see her around right now. I am very surprised. Usually my little calico cat is trying to trip me up right now. Hi, Moose. That's not my calico cat, that's my tabby cat. Alright, let's give that a stir. With a thing to stir. Let's go with a wooden spoon. Alright. Let's switch to the stove cam so you can see what I'm doing. As you see, as the water's warmed up, those bouillon cubes have started to dissolve on our tofu skin. If I told you this was a vegan or vegetarian recipe, I would be lying. It is not. It is a Shadowrun recipe. They are not vegetarians by choice. But because, you know, it's a cyberpunk apocalypse. There you go. And since I have time to wait for that to cook, I am just going to let that do that and clean away some of the things that I have. So, the scene that this recipe's from within Shadowrun Dragonfall, as I was stating earlier, you are on a mission to basically infiltrate sort of a skinheads type headquarters. And in this game, for those who haven't played Shadowrun, it's a cyberpunk universe where magic is returned to the world. A lot of people happen to wake up as sorry, that's the white pepper. As elves, orcs, trolls, dwarves and whatnot, and dragons have returned too. Yay! Corporations have taken over, well, everything because of various food shortages and environmental crises and all sorts of crazy other things. As a result, a lot of various farming products are not exactly all that easy to come by, except for, you know, those who can very much afford it, i.e. the insanely wealthy, i.e. the corporate types. And I don't mean the corporate slaves. Yes, those are a thing in the Shadowrun universe. I'm talking about the people who own and are on the boards of those various corporations. Kinda hits a little close to home, doesn't it? So, anyway, the game gets its name from the fact that, like I said, the corporations happen to run, well, everything. However, there's a lot of corporate espionage that happens to go on, a lot of it involving hacking, a lot of breaking into various corporate buildings and stealing things, and basically, corporations can't really do it on, you know, they can't really do it, I want to say, the word escapes me right now, overtly. So they hire Shadowrunners to do the dirty work for them. So, I'm just going to put that down to a low. It doesn't really need to be boiling so much. More of a simmer. Anyway. But as I was saying, so your team of Shadowrunners is tasked to infiltrate the Skinheads organization's headquarters. They think it's just let's just get some information, but no, it turns out to actually be the headquarters, and spoilers for the game. However, right before you go out on the run, the nice thing about Shadowrun Dragonfall is that they're little there's people to interact with that doesn't necessarily have to be quest-oriented, it's just role-play-oriented. And one of which is a food stand right outside of your meeting point that happens to sell currywurst and soup and sandwich combos. The currywurst is awful, but the soup and sandwich combos are delightful. They're basically there to double charge you if you happen to make the mistake of ordering the currywurst first. However, since I don't like to serve anything that tastes disgusting on this show, I thought, you know, making a soy-based currywurst, that sounds like a culinary challenge. That, and also they don't really specify what kind of soup and sandwich happens to be in the game, so it's better than trying to figure out what the heck that was supposed to be. So that's what we're making today, as I wait for that to cook and sip on my scotch. Tasty, tasty, tasty scotch. And clean my kitchen because I can. Also, since I have time, let's go ahead and make that curry ketchup. I did realize that this is kind of a hurry up and wait thing, and also, no, it's not a hurry up and wait thing, because I've got other things I need to do. And that is, once we make the sausage filling, we are actually steaming them in parchment paper and foil, before then wrapping them in some spring roll wrappers, usually found in Vietnamese spring rolls, and grilling them to get the skin nice and crispy. So, to be able to make my sausages, I'm going to have to cut pieces of paper roughly about the size of what I need to make the sausages in. So let's go ahead and clear our workspace to take care of that while I wait for, well, that to absorb. Put up a little bit higher. So, you are going to need parchment paper and kitchen scissors. Parchment paper, big fat roll, and you're going to want to cut about 8-inch squares, which I'm going to have to eyeball here, or find a cutting board that happens to be 8 inches in diameter. This is about, what am I talking about? This is about 8 inches in diameter. Yeah. Hey babe, 22 centimeters, 8 inches in diameter, right? Okay. Because that would be pretty darn convenient, not gonna lie. Might be a little wider, actually.
8.661 inches.
So 8.5. That's also, yeah, okay. Right, so we're gonna use my rice paper wrappers as kind of a reference point. And it doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to work. So, just going to find where the heck my kitchen scissors went. Give this a stir. Come back. So, all I need is one to then figure out the rest of them. You know, that might be a little bit larger than I was anticipating. We can cut it down. We can make it work. It'll work. So. That is a bit larger than I was anticipating. About an inch, so we're just going to cut that extra inch off. I'm just going to mute the microphone for a second because I need to blow my nose. Okay, and we're back. So I'm just going to take that rough, very rough, square that I cut, trim it down a little bit, and now cut out some more squares. I will need about 8 in total. So, doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to work. So, and that's roughly enough, so. That's 3. I need about 5 more. Screw it, I'm gonna use a pen. That does not work on parchment paper. Oh well. 4. It's the most messed up square I've ever cut. Okay. Five. Just do a quick count. Yep, that's 5. See how our tofu skin's doing. Okay. And back to this. Where'd my square go? Ah, here we are. Six, and that'll work for 7. No, I just need 1 more. I might have poured too much water on those sausages, but not the sausages, the tofu skin. My brain is not quite here, admittedly, tonight. Perfect. Okay. That'll do. Alright, so that's 8 parchment paper squares. Should have made some kind of cocktail to go along with all this. That's true. And my husband just said we're low on stuff, so that's kind of also why I'm drinking scotch right now. Yeah, you have your 8 squares of parchment paper. And parchment paper away. Get the foil. And I'm going to go ahead and stir together my ketchup to kind of let the flavors marry. So I'm going to need about... How much ketchup did I write on here? A half a cup of ketchup. I might need more. Oh! Right, I also am going to... this is usually served with fries. I kind of brought crinkle cut fries to go along with this. We're going to be heating those up in the oven. Look, yes, I could teach you how to make fries. But when you're doing all of this, do you really want to be making fries? Really? No, I didn't think so. So, convenience trumps homemadeness or something to that effect. So, okay. Just so it doesn't stick to my measuring cup and make it insanely hard to clean later, I'm just spraying the inside of my measuring cup into... it's okay. Before I pour about a half a cup of, in this case it's organic ketchup. You don't have to use organic ketchup. This is just what I happen to have, since I have a friend who is allergic to potassium metabisulfite, which is often in most commercial ketchups and mustards. And the last time I used this ketchup, he was guest over. And I also had made barbecue sauce with this. So, half a cup of ketchup. Take a spoon and scrape that out. There we go. All right. Then I'm going to be adding a tablespoon of curry powder, just standard commercial curry powder that you can get at the grocery store. Sure, I can make my own curry powder, but when you're doing all of this, do you really want to make up your own curry powder? I didn't think so. So, a tablespoon is usually about 3 teaspoons, so I'm going to be using this teaspoon since I already have it out. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3. And you're going to hold on to that curry powder because a traditional currywurst is also served with a sprinkle of curry powder on top. So, I'm just going to stir that all up and give it a taste to see if I need anything else. Even though I wrote in the recipe that this is all you need to do. But it is blending nicely, it looks like. And I'm just going to give it a quick taste. It tastes like curry ketchup. There we go. There's your sauce. Okay. Simple enough, I know. Yeah. And it looks like my bouillon is finally cooking down some. I'm going to go ahead and take a look at that so you can see where I'm going. I'm just going to pull this up a little bit so you can kind of see it better. Notice how there's not all that much liquid left. I'm still waiting until I can get down to most of the liquid out of it. So that's why I'm continuing to let it boil. But, you know, just keep an eye on it as it gets to this point. In the meantime, let's go ahead and check on our tofu to see how that is drained. Switch up here. Okay. Looks like I'm gonna have to take this out and replace the paper towels just for this last little bit of moisture. And a good way to tell is that if your paper towels are saturated, it's time to change them out. So I'm just gonna pop that back on top. Okay, so the next part of this recipe, you are going to need a food processor. I'm just going to go ahead and switch the cam here, since you're getting the idea with that. We're going to be using a food processor as such, with a regular blade attachment. Like so. This is where we're going to be pulverizing the... what's it called? The filling for these sausages. So I'm just gonna go ahead and move the stuff I need over here. And teaspoon over here since I'm still gonna need it for the mustard. As well as move some of the things out of the way that I don't need anymore, such as bouillon cubes. I don't need those anymore. The ketchup, that can go home. And flipping back here, kind of see where I'm at. I'm just going to be pulling out my steamer basket. I'm going to need a pot that will fit that. Do I have one? I think I do. Pretty sure I can just put that on top of a regular pan. Let's see if I have one that fits it. This'll do, I think. Perfect. So one of these guys, or if you happen to have a bamboo steamer that goes in a skillet, have at it. I have one. For the sake of this recipe, I'm not going to show it quite yet, especially since I'm going to actually hold on to that for either next week episodes or the episode after that, where I'm going to be going to Shadowrun again, except for the third game of the series, Shadowrun Hong Kong, to make some pork-filled lumpia, which is a Vietnamese pork spring roll. I believe it's usually steamed and then fried. I'm not entirely sure. I still haven't quite developed that recipe yet. But I kind of want to hold on to it for that because it fits the flavor text a little bit more than, say, well, a street food cart in the middle of Berlin. So, yeah, spring rolls are delicious. So yeah, already have this. I'm gonna go ahead and put some water in there because I'm gonna need it anyway. And this way I don't have to take the pan off the stove again. So, filled it with a couple images of water. Set that on top, and I need a lid that happens to seal that up. Let's see if this one... No, it doesn't. Does this one work? No, it doesn't. I'm pretty sure that I have a lid that does. In here somewhere. Or maybe it's a glass lid. I mean, that would be my luck, wouldn't it? Yep. That works. Okay, so it looks like we are getting to the barely any liquid left stage of the tofu skins. Yeah, I would say that's pretty darn done. In fact, I'm going to have to add a little bit of water to release that. Like... so, oh boy, that's gonna be fun to clean. All right, perfect. That has absorbed our water and stock beautifully. And now, let's turn that off. Switch over our camera to our food processor here. There we go. And I'm just going to add that directly to the food processor bowl. And put this away because I don't need it anymore. Wha-bam. Okay. So to that, I need to add the following. First, I need to see if my tofu block is, for the most part, squeezed out most of its moisture. It has. So, since I already have a cutting board here, I'm gonna go ahead and cube that up. Doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to work. I just need it in small enough pieces to process into a pulp. So I'm just gonna do that right now. There you go. So that can go directly into my food processor bowl, right there. And I'm gonna go ahead and try to get this properly situated. There we go. Next, all those spices. Just gonna add that. A tablespoon of grainy mustard. Process that. Oh right, vegetable oil. I need a tablespoon of vegetable oil. And luckily my wooden spoon is still clean. And tablespoon, i.e. 3 teaspoons vegetable oil, and so it happens to build up good structure, I'm going to add 3/4 of a cup of dehydrated potato flakes. This stuff here, I stuff like instant mashed potatoes. That's basically it. It makes a great thickener, and it's also gluten-free. You know, if that happens to be an issue, considering that none of the other ingredients of this recipe have gluten in it. So, let's just go ahead and let that blend like crazy. So, just going to read what I need there. It just needs to process until smooth, which that's what it's doing. Well, it's kind of a dough mixture, but that's alright, because this is, I have to say, probably the perfect... Here, pop that off and show you. It's the consistency of ground beef, as you can see. And since this is all cooked, I'm going to go ahead and taste a little bit. Okay. I would say that it does need a touch of salt. So I'm just going to add a few pinches of kosher salt to that. And I'm going to also add another tablespoon of grainy mustard. So the thing about potato flakes is they do have a tendency, just like, you know, regular mashed potatoes, to kind of soak up all of the seasoning like you do. Wow, that's interesting. Okay. Let's have a little bit more. Right. And I want to say a touch more of olive oil. Vegetable oil. 2, 3, and for subscribers to my Patreon, do not worry, the end recipe will have those adjustments added on to it, which I will add as soon as this is done being processed. just gonna pulse it now. Oh goodness, okay. I would say that's done. So, oof. Well, look at that. That's nutty, isn't it? Okay. Back to our prep cam. I'm going to transfer this to a mixing bowl because the next step is coming up. Just going to scrape all of that into a mixing bowl. Flatten that out as best as I possibly can. Okay, so now I'm just going to go ahead and slice this into 8s. You're going to be making 8 sausages today. So there's a half, there's a quarter, and there are 8s. Cool. Oh boy. So let me go ahead and alter the recipe. So as we said with the curry ketchup, we now have, we do have a tablespoon of curry in there. However, the sausage, instead of 1 tablespoon of grainy mustard, we have 2 tablespoons of grainy mustard. So I'm just going to go ahead and alter the recipe there. And let's see, 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil into the mix, and kosher salt, 2 to 3 pinches. Feel free to add more. Feel free to taste because, like I said, this is all cooked. This is all, you're not going to get sick from trying this. So do not worry if you need to taste, just to make sure that your ingredients happen to work well, because that's the thing with cooking. It's not a strict formula when it comes to recipes because ingredients vary. So I need a spoon to scrape that out. Okay, so scrape out 1/8 of that mixture onto my parchment paper here. I'm going to turn the page on my written instructions. Oh wait, you're only doing 1/6, or wait. We're doing 8. So, you're going to want to form a sausage actually, do we do 6 or 8? Let's do 6. So I'm going to do 6 to make these a bit larger. So we're going to be using 6 squares of that, because when I was writing this, I first wrote 8, and then I wrote 6, and didn't switch 6 on the original. So 6, so, and half, and then in thirds. There you go. Beautiful. So, just gonna scoop out one of those thirds. Form it into a 6-inch long, giggity, sausage. I'm just gonna roll that. So you have about 1 inch, a little bit more on each side. And it should be about 1 inch thick. There we go, that's about 1.5 inches on each side. Maybe a little bit more. Okay. Alright, so now we just need to have enough at the bottom to fold it over. And then, wait, stupid me, I forgot something. I forgot something very crucial. Cooking spray. You're gonna need to spritz this and brush a very light layer of cooking spray onto your so once after you steam it, it's less likely to stick. So, as so. So, pulling it over, and then rolling. And then we're just going to do that for now because we need to also wrap this in foil. So, I promise you, my brain's working. I just seem to be having a super ADHD moment tonight. Hey, Chiptune Brony, I'm sorry that I missed your... I had a glass in front of my monitor, so I did not actually see what you were typing. Yes, Currywurst. See, pizza tacos look delicious. Thanks for posting that. I love Night in the Woods, and I love May Borowski. Yes, actually, Strike Red Kite here on, I believe, let's see, I think he's still on here with us. He was the one who suggested that game to me, and I'm glad that I did, that he did, because those tacos turned out fantastic. I even recently bought another 2 pounds of Italian sausage to make another batch, probably tomorrow night for dinner. But yeah, Strike was the one who pointed me out to that game, and I freaking loved it. I loved how creepy it was. I loved how quirky it was. I will say one of my favorite parts is actually the mall scene where she does kind of get on the mall intercom and acts as God, and it's just, it's hilarious. Okay, so sausage. And yeah, good to hear, Chiptune Marie. Good to hear that you're doing good. It's about time someone did well. Alright, so I've got about an 8-inch thing of foil. I'm probably not going to need the full, I should not cut it with that. I should cut it with scissors. Full sheet of foil. You just need this to just cover as well as possible. So, just gonna wrap that right there and twist the end. No, it's actually Strike that introduced the game to me because I was trying to figure out what to do for. Here we go. There's one sausage that I'm gonna go ahead and put into my basket here. I'm gonna have to push up the ends so it doesn't bend. But yeah, I had a lot of fun playing it. Okay, so now I'm just gonna give the next sausage, which is spritz of what's it called? Cooking spray on my parchment paper square. Just gonna move this out of the way so you can see what I'm doing. And then I just need to form a 6-inch sausage, which I'm gonna do kind of by rolling. But yeah, Currywurst is a German fast food snack, like street food. Because this game that it's, this particular episode of the Shadowrun computer game takes place in Berlin. But yeah, you do actually approach a food truck cart and order a particularly terrible currywurst, which is bratwurst that's been grilled or pan-fried and served with ketchup that has been mixed with curry powder. I did not want to make this terrible. However, thing is, since in the Shadowrun universe, meat is at a premium, the bratwurst is actually made out of soy. So this is a mix of tofu and tofu skin with pork and beef bouillon powder, dehydrated potato flakes, and a couple of spices to. Let's see. Have you ever heard of the game One Shot? It's kind of similar to Undertale, but you're a cat humanoid named Nico, carries around a giant light bulb that represents the sun. That sounds adorable. Yeah, I'm gonna have to try that out. I mean, especially is the gameplay itself like Undertale, because I know Undertale's mostly. I remember Undertale's mostly, is this long enough? My brain is, it's mostly RPG, if I remember, like, kind of problem-solving, storytelling, with some platforming, depending on the monster that you fight. It's like, actually, you don't have to fight, it's a venture game made with RPG Maker 2000. Oh, okay, so more storytelling. Excellent. Yeah, see, I'd give it a shot. So I will admit that as of late, I am working on developing better habits, and the better habits include fasting for 16 hours to start with, avoiding ordering delivery for lunch so I can start saving some more money, and what else? We're also working on doing a deep clean of the house, as well as doing remodeling the bathroom. And the thing is, since I have anxiety disorder, and I'm starting to wonder if it might actually be comorbid with ADHD, I've always had trouble with finishing or achieving goals, and then just having a complete psychological anxiety push of just feeling god-awful if I don't manage to reach the goal. But the thing is, the goals that I would have were kind of intangible. Like, for example, the fasting, it's the, okay, well, I need to reach this goal of this weight. When really, what I need to be building habits and rewarding myself every time I happen to build on the next, like, keep the habit of the next step. So, getting back to where we are with Steam, I've decided that my reward to myself, once I happen to finish a month of 16-hour fasts, is to buy a book off of my Amazon wish list. My goal for my reward to myself for not ordering delivery for lunch for about a month is buying a game that I've been wanting on Steam. So I'm going to check to see if there's any sales currently on that game, One Shot. And if there is, I'll add it to my I'll If there is, I'll go ahead and get it. If not, I'll add it to my list, and I will get it as soon as I finish one of those goals. So I'll take a look at it. I'm also curious, like, considering that Undertale does have food in it, the spider donuts and all that. I'm curious to see if there's any food in that game too. I mean, it seems like it would, being a very Undertale sort of game. Kind of the sort of slice of life thing. However, a game I've been wanting to get that came out not too long ago is Calico Cafe, where you're in this kind of adorable kawaii sort of world, and you're tasked with opening up a cat cafe in town. And that includes, making recipes to serve in the cafe, furnishing it, going on quests and missions to get resources and join the community together and find cute animals. So my old friend said to me before we separated our friendship, the kawaii stuff? Or this game's on Steam? Sure. But, yeah, one shot. Yeah, if there's food in there, that would be... I know that Undertale has a lot of fans that wanted food from the game, so I imagine One Shot might be in a similar sort of position. Let's just go ahead and... Sorry, what? No, Carter, it's a video game called One Shot. It's similar to Undertale. My husband's gonna go look it up. He's good like that. So, there we go. Speaking of which, the music that's playing right now in Pretzel sounds a little bit like that kind of chiptune-esque stuff you get with Undertale. Okay. Let's cut myself a few more squares of foil. Let's see, let's cut that in half. So, let's go ahead and wrap that up. And oh, and the music to One Shot is so atmospheric and relaxing. That's good to know. Yeah, I've been finding myself listening to a lot of lo-fi, kind of chill hop sort of playlists as of late, playlists as of late, especially on YouTube, where it has the little animation going at the same time. For some reason, it's just, I've gotten really productive listening to that. So, I am all for a game that relaxes me. Okay, got 3 more sausages to make. So I'm just gonna take another 1/6 out of our bowl. I'm gonna roll it into a ball, and then roll it into a sausage. I remember the reason why I made it 6 inches was because of the, what's it called? The spring roll wrappers that I'm going to be putting on these to make kind of a crispy skin on the sausage. So I don't want too much rice paper hanging off the edges of it when I make this, so hence needing to make it about 6 inches. Okay. Cool. Alright, so now I just need to file it up. Cover that. Roll it up again. Yeah. Pieces of parchment paper flying everywhere. That's okay. I only need 2 more squares anyway. So there you go. There is food in one shop, but I'm not sure if you'll find this food interesting. Also, no spoilers. Well, you know, if it's a fantasy game, it's not necessarily whether I'd find it interesting. It's kind of how I would make it interesting. Like you said, this cat armed with a giant light bulb and this kind of atmospheric sort of setting. Well, the thing is with that, I kind of have to go off of, one, what can the cat eat? So I kind of have to adapt basic recipes into what a cat would probably be able to eat without getting poisoned. And 2, I kind of have to look around the environment of the game to see, okay, what are the plants there that I see? What's the society like? What can I do to adapt to make this recipe work for this particular world? So surrealistic fantasy is actually kind of a bread and butter thing, like you saw with the pizza tacos. Granted, yes, the pizza tacos a cat cannot eat because of, well, onions. But, you know, it still worked. Clearly it doesn't apply to everything, but I'll see what I can do. I'm curious, you know, you have my curiosity piqued. Oh man, so, which is good, because I currently did not have any other recipe. Well, I only had 2 other recipes planned out for this month, and they kind of go together. Like there's a book I read recently called The Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires, and it takes place in, I want to say, the early to late 90s in North Carolina, and the main characters are housewives, Southern housewives. So of course you're going to have your casseroles, and there's also plenty of cheese straws. So it's going to be 2 recipes. One recipe for cheese straws, which if you've ever had before, are these kind of flaky little pastry snacks made with cheddar cheese. Very Southern. Yes, you can buy them, but the reason why I have a recipe is that they're more likely to be found in the store in the South than you're going to find in most grocery stores. So this is kind of here you can make them, but then I'm going to make a casserole with the cheese straws, crumbly topping on top, with Swedish meatballs and kind of a tomato sauce underneath. So yeah, it's cheese straws and cheese straw casserole. That's going to be 2 of the 3 recipes for this month. And I didn't have a third. I was wanting to make one based off of the graphic novel series Rickety Stitch, but I might actually hold that off for a second or third recipe for Munchies and Minis, depending on how fast I get through things. Considering I need to read the second book, where there's more food listed. Because yeah, recently I was in a what's it called? A role-playing game session over at Little Red Dot's channel, and the creators of Rickety Stitch were watching, and I got to play this gnome. Got to play this gnome who had spent the last century writing a 12-volume book on a 12-volume series on making jam, and now was trying to research for a book on magical mocktails. So yeah, I'm gonna say the recipe I came up with. Okay, let's okay. So another sausage. And I only need another thing of foil before I can start steaming these things, which... How long do I need to steam these things? 20 minutes, oh boy. I should probably get the water boiling, but I want to finish up these sausages first. Okay. Alright. So, another thing of foil. Cut that in half. So, just going to put that seam side down, cover that up, cover that up, twist to close, twist to close, and fold over the excess so it lays flat in the steamer. And just one more to make. Yay! Use this one instead. Okay. Oh goodness. But yeah, let's see, the other thing I've got coming out soon, or gonna work on, I'm waiting for leg of lamb to go on sale so I can make my second Bridgerton recipe for lamb a la bechamel. The trouble is leg of lamb is so expensive. I mean, I should be doing some less expensive type recipes on the blog, but the thing is, people really kind of want the big showstoppers, it seems. I wouldn't mind doing more side dishes like I did for Bridgerton, like the minted peas, based on actually a recipe from Regency era, from the Mrs. Beaton's cookbook, that I then adapted for flavor, taking modern cooking techniques into account. Okay. All right, that's roughly about 6 inches, a little bit less than that, but that's fine. Quick spritz, quick roll, smush, cover, and cover roll again. All right, here we go. Twist, twist, bam. Okay. So now, I'm just gonna switch that over to this burner and flip my camera over so you can see what I'm doing. Switch the stove cam there. You see I've kind of loosely put them, this would probably be a little bit better, 3 on top, or 2 on the bottom, 2 on top of that, and 2 on top of that, or 1 on top of that. There we go. So I can have the steam kind of go around it a little bit more. So now, just need to get that boiling and steaming. So I'm gonna put the heat on high, and while I wait, I'm just gonna go ahead and do some cleanup because, yeah, there's for one, I'm gonna need a cleaner workstation for when I wrap the skin on these things, but also I've got the time. It takes about 20 minutes for it to steam, so in the meantime, that means I can relax and chat while cleaning. I am so for this. Oh boy. So, yeah, oh, right, things I've been reading. I've been working on the Percy Jackson and the Olympian series as of late. And there is a smoked beef brisket recipe that I want to do. I'm probably going to release it on Patreon, probably in March or April. Partially because I want a little bit of green outside before I take pictures, because it's Camp Half-Blood. It's a summer camp. You gotta have an outdoor sort of thing, especially since they eat in an outside sort of cafeteria. Like, they eat outdoors at picnic tables and whatnot, so you want some green for a summer recipe in the photos. So, let's see, the other fictional food. There's also, I mean, I'm currently working on book 3. I just started it. There's also a lot of hamburgers listed in the first and second book, which, one of which, oh, right, and there's also, in the second book, a pizza with olives and pepperoni. And an interesting thing about Percy Jackson series, it's very Daring Do book series. That sounds familiar. I have not read it. God, to give you an idea, I was born in '86, so I'm a millennial. I'm an older millennial, so there's a lot of various children's books and middle grade stuff, and also YA that I just flat out missed on. Just because of when I was born. But also, this was before ebooks were really a thing, so going to the bookstore was an investment. Well, not terribly. This was also when paperbacks were like $6, so I can't say that. And I will admit that this was also... God, there was the little local bookstore in where I grew up. I went to middle school and high school in. And this guy that worked there, he was in college, and oh, he's so hot, college guy. And he was also like almost about 7 feet tall. With this like long Fabio type hair, like not the crazy curly, but you know, just the wavy and stuff. And so he was also a huge fantasy nerd. So I would go in and we would talk about fantasy books the entire time. And I'm pretty sure he knew I was hitting on him. I'm pretty sure of that. But yeah, that was when I would actually have books ordered to come into the bookstore. If nothing else, to have a reason to come back and visit. So, yeah, that was me. And my husband's looking at me disapprovingly. Oh right, yes. I don't know if you heard that, but when my husband and I were growing up, I want to say, actually, yeah, the series grew up with us, the Harry Potter series, which unfortunately J.K. Rowling ruined by being a TERF, but yeah, that was the YA series, that was the middle grade, that was the book series for us to read, so, yeah, but no, considering I got some good stuff out of the, Cat vs. Dog, like, those meatloaf sandwiches, they were so rich. I swear, like, half of those things, like, only a half a sandwich is enough to, like, make you kind of regret eating that much in one sitting. Peanut butter's rich, yo. I mean, but then again, we're also in our 30s, where it's like, yeah, one of those double bypass burgers from the Vortex is not something we can, like, we could probably eat a quarter of that now. It's like, nope, there's no way. Just none whatsoever. Gosh. Ooh. But, yeah, that was when paperback novels were only about $6 a piece. And now they're like 13. God, I feel old. Okay, so that catfish stew was delicious. Yes, the catfish stew was delicious. In fact, my roommate loved it so much that she asked me to send her the recipe card before she moved up to Pennsylvania, because she's like, I need that. I just need that in my life always. But yeah, Carter, my husband, was just saying the series that he grew up on was the Animorph series, which my friend Eric, he like wrote this opinion piece on how really Animorphs should be brought back, and I agree. In fact, okay, it's just weird. I only got to read the first few books, and the reason for that, and she's probably gonna, kick my butt. Actually, no. My mom and I have clashed on spirituality. But when you're about 12 years old and trying to, well, no, you're 12 years old. You're about 8 years old and you want to turn your plastic horse into a real horse because of really strong imagination. And the fact that you're reading Animorphs at the time should not equate to you taking away your kids' Animorphs books because they're practicing witchcraft. Which I know has nothing to do with it, but, Oh gosh, I shouldn't say more because I know my parents watched I know my parents watched these, and it was decades ago, so no worries there. But now that I am an adult and I can buy my own books, I'm gonna buy the Animorph series and see if I can find any food. Yes, on ebook. Okay.
So I made.
Yeah. You're gonna have to get close because otherwise we can't hear you.
So I had all the Animorph books, and I made the mistake. Once it finished, when I was.
We are finally steaming. So. Okay.
I want to say when it finished in high school, or yeah, it must have been high school when it finished for me. I thought I would be quite generous and donate my entire series of Animorph books to the local library.
Because you're a good person, love.
And I regret it. It's horrible.
Oh gosh. Okay.
I know that my local library also did book sales, and they probably just put that in and sold them for 10 cents a piece. And
yeah. So okay. Well, you have an ebook, and
I went back and read them after college, and that should hold up.
It's good to know that the books hold up. So yeah, I'm gonna have to read some Animorphs and see if there's any food in there. So yeah. Like I said, working on Percy Jackson. Yeah, there's that pizza. There's a lot of hamburgers. Like at one point when they enter the Medusa's sort of statuary shop, she has a snack bar with burgers. So maybe something off of that, or I'm thinking probably more burgers at Camp Half-Blood themselves because I mean everything's cooked by nymphs, so there's got to be some interesting herbal sort of herb and spice combinations, I imagine. Especially since one thing that Rick Riordan, the author of the Percy Jackson series, gets right is the whole concept of offerings being burnt in the hearth fire. And it's kind of a whole transference of energy sort of deal. But the way it's presented, it's like each one of these campers, i.e. children of the gods, has to scrape a bit off their plate into the fire and an offering to their parents before eating. And I mean, Percy kind of goes, I wonder why the gods want to smell burnt, like would want to eat the smell of burnt food. But the thing is, after he gives his offering, it's the scent of all of the food, not burnt, mind you, but just all kind of combined with the scent of wildflowers and all sorts of stuff. So I'm thinking, okay, what would a burger kind of infused with, like dried lavender and some other kind of mustard and just other various spices and herbs that are a little bit more floral. I think it'd be pretty interesting. I mean, I did make burgers before on the Gluttonous Geek. My favorite recipe for them was for a Lion King inspired burger. I call them the Mufasa burger, that uses coriander and lemongrass, as well as being topped with Swiss cheese, cantaloupe, and bananas. And holy mother of gods, it was delightful. So, oh yeah, and I had chives in there too. Oh, it was so good. So yeah, if I can kind of go off that concept, and I will say, even though I'm pretty sure that they would normally do grilled burgers. I actually prefer my burgers skillet cooked because it flattens it out so it doesn't have the whole bucking up sort of thing you get with most burgers. It cooks evenly, and also you get all these nice little crunchy bits infused with the fat, like with its own fat, and it's just so good. Okay, so we're still steaming our sausages. And yes, I was getting on to the next bit of our whole recipe bit. So I think for the most, my workspace is for the most part clean. So this is going to be the next step of the whole process. First, I'm going to just go ahead and get some vegetable oil, about a tablespoon worth, into a bowl, into that mixing bowl I had earlier. You don't need to put it into a mixing bowl. You can probably just get away with a small bowl, but since I already have this out and it's already dirty, I'm just going to use that. Why waste another dish? Oh, guess what I made today? Chiptune Brony says cream soda from Glenn and Friends on YouTube. That I'm gonna have to try. I will say, like, the only time I've ever made a soda syrup before, I've made simple syrups before, but I haven't really, the only time I've ever combined them with club soda water was for my friend Victoria's official Fallout cookbook with trying the Nuka-Cola recipe, and holy crap, it's delicious. It made me realize the reason why I never liked rum and cokes before is because American Coca-Cola is made with corn syrup. Rum is molasses based, and rum, molasses, and corn syrup do not mix well together. It tastes god-awful, and that's why American rum and cokes taste disgusting. However, making Nuka-Cola a sugar-based syrup, or if you use Mexican Coca-Cola, that with rum, excellent. So freaking good. Glenn and Friends is brewing and cooking show, the Bob Ross of cooking. That sounds like fun. I'm gonna have to put that on while typing up some recipes or doing some photo editing. So my husband just told me that an Animorphs movie has been announced, so that means I need to make some Animorphs recipes. Announced in June 2020. It's currently in production. Oh my gosh, it is the time of happy tonight. Alright, so I've got my oil. Also, we are going to be needing 6 spring roll wrappers made. This is basically rice paper. I'm gonna have to put this in a bag after using it. You're gonna need 6 of these, and to use it, we're gonna need a bowl of lukewarm water. Which I'm gonna find the bowl I have that's large enough to actually dip these in. Nope. I'm just gonna use a soup bowl because it's nice and wide. Well, not soup bowl per se, as a pasta bowl. Let's use one of these pasta bowls that happens to be stacked underneath other bowls. Yay! Okay. Alright. Pasta bowl. Pasta bowl is big enough. And good, I still have my cutting board. Because that's where the oil figures in. Okay, guys, apparently you don't need to oil your parchment paper before steaming it. I just read ahead. However, I need a oiled piece of parchment paper, which I so happen to have a piece of parchment paper. gonna go ahead and oil that. And I need another piece of parchment paper, which I'd apparently thrown away earlier. Paper plate will do. Let's do that. There we go. Cool. And also, I'm going to go ahead and get my fries going because I've got about 11 minutes left on steaming the sausages. Currywurst is best served with some crinkle fries and that curry ketchup that I was talking about earlier. So, while yes, I could show you how to make fries, after doing all this, do you really want to make hand-cut fries? You know, if you really want to, I'm not going to blame you. However, I don't feel like it, and I'm tired, so I'm going to do frozen fries. And also, it's street food. Street food is all about the quick and convenient. So, big old bag of French fried potatoes, crinkle cut fries. And what are the instructions on this? I don't want to deep fry this, I want to bake them. Standard oven / toaster oven. Preheat oven to 425 degrees. 425. And that's going to take about almost 10 minutes to preheat. So it's like I'm happy with your Patreon site because some of the good recipes I could find in the playlist as well. Aw, thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah. Oh gosh. I think you're really going to like the playlist I put together for Night in the Woods. It's mostly kind of the same kind of lo-fi and weird funky type stuff they have like in the soundtrack, as well as a couple of favorites from the soundtrack. And goodness, what other one did I put together recently that's a lot of fun? Oh, I can actually look that up on my screen by clicking up. Yeah, the next one I'm going to be releasing is for the Themysciran Potato Skins, so the Wonder Woman 1984. So it's a big 1984 playlist with some other fun ones thrown in. Where's my Spotify? Spotify. Did I put it to the right temp? 425. Okay, spread frozen fries on a single layer on a dark non-stick baking sheet or shallow baking pan and bake 9 minutes. Okay. I'm gonna put this in while I am wrapping sausages with the rice paper. And okay, so playlist that I've got unfinished, good stuff. Oh goodness, the Bridgerton one is pretty excellent. A lot of classical music takes on modern songs. The Bells Be Fragoo for Beauty and the Beast has a lot of kind of Patricia Ka and Edith Piaf sort of songs. Let's see. For those who love sea shanties, the Blushing Mermaid Pork Platter is going to have plenty. And what else do I have? Oh, Dark Star Smoked Duck based on Shroud of the Avatar. A lot of bardcore. If you ever heard of that, it's like medieval sort of version, like medieval style covers of pop songs. So there's a lot of bardcore on that. And yeah, no, I did actually start putting together that Pizza Tacos playlist. So that'll go up when I actually put it up on the website. And I'm realizing that paper plates soak in oil while parchment paper does not. So I do, in fact, need another sheet of parchment paper. So, but yeah, probably don't need one that large, but it'll do. This will be my finished sausage piece of paper, and this will be my not finished sausage piece of paper, which I need to weigh down. pair of scissors. Okay, there we go. There. Oh boy. Okay. Delicious aerosols in my lungs. Oof. Okay. That's just steaming away about 6 more minutes while I continue to wait for the oven to preheat. Oh boy. So that's all set up. But yeah, like I said earlier, the spring roll wrappers, rice paper spring roll wrappers. I realize I need a pair of scissors to open up. Back here. Okay. So I'm going to need about 6 of these. And you can kind of see they're pretty flimsy so far, but that's okay because this is going to be the skin of our sausage and it's going to get all nice and crispy once we grill it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I don't actually have the Twitch website open up right now, so that's why I haven't seen it yet. But I can pull it up. And luckily I'm having a good internet connection right now, so I'm not having to worry so much about connection issues. Where are you? Okay, notifications! That's not it. Message box? Oh, it's message box. Whispers. San Komodo curry. Okay, I think that's the recipe you're talking about, so... DeviantArt. San Komodo... Let's see. Nice photo. I really like the, I actually kind of like the combination of the pink and purple lighting you have in there, and that's a really nice bowl, too. Yeah, just to... and by the way, I really like the rain wind, like soaked window. I'm assuming that was, it had just rained outside your house before that. Nice. I do love curry. Oh, and yes, lamb. I love lamb. And yeah, so I like the mix of the pink and blue lighting there. Just to let you know, a good way of getting good dramatic light on your photos is to kind of have your white light kind of set behind the object to help kind of cast a little bit more of a shadow, for a little bit more dramatic shadows, and gives a little bit more definition to your photo. Also, a fun app that I think you will like a lot, especially for photo editing. For phones and tablets, it's called Snapseed. Excellent app. But what I usually use for my photo editing is PicMonkey, which is starts out as a free version of Photoshop. It's very easy to use, and I can't remember if I think I pay for the premium, so I'm able to use the burn and dodge tools. So, highly recommend PicMonkey as well. So, let me see here. Okay. And GIMP, yeah, I don't really use GIMP so much, but I've heard good things about GIMP, especially if you're used to using Photoshop and don't want to spend the money on Photoshop. GIMP, I believe, is also good for vector images, which is also really nice if you're working on things like logos and you need to do quick resizing without any distortion or pixelation. So, stuff I remember from when I was taking my certification in Brain. Certification in technical writing. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 wrappers. Oh, that one's torn. But it's not too badly torn, so we can still use that one. And I just need to fill that with some lukewarm water. Did I already put away my... Oh good, this is still clean. The way I see it, if it hasn't touched anything perishable, and if it hasn't touched the bottom of my sink, it's still clean. So, alright. Just have to wait for the water to warm up some. How are we doing on this? We still have steam. Yep. Still have boiling water and steam. Alright, we're not quite at lukewarm yet. Still kind of cold. Ah, do 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 do. Come on. Because to be able to rehydrate those spring roll wrappers, I need to have them in lukewarm water, dipped for about 5 seconds. So, 42 seconds left on the sausages, things. Oh, here's a plate. I can just put those on top. And it's clean. Yay! Even better. Okay, that's lukewarm. Just gonna making sure I don't get hot water. About 2 cups of water right there, ready to go. And my sausages are done in 5 seconds. So, let's switch back to the stove cam here. There we go. Add it in. Remove those. There we go. Excellent. And turn the heat off on that since we don't need it anymore. But I'm going to go ahead and move it off this burner and replace this burner with my cast iron skillet here. So, okay, gotta go. Enjoyed watching you stream. When are you streaming again? If all works well, next week. I'm going to be either doing pork-filled spring rolls or something based off of Rickety Stitch. So, next week at this time, barring, well, death or dismemberment, I should be back. So, thanks for joining me, Chiptune Brony. It was good to see you on the stream. Okay, and... oh. So... Alright. So, if you want to see what one of these sausages turned out like, I'm just going to carefully unwrap that. And the thing is, in theory, you should be able to grill these. However, I still want that crispy skin. And I'm only going to get that with the following. So I've got my lukewarm water. See you around, Chiptune Brony. Good to see you. Just going to pour that into this bowl here. Okay. Next, one of these rice paper spring roll sheets. I'm just going to dip that in there for about 5 seconds. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Move. I'm going to dip a little bit longer. Make sure it's all soaking up water. Okay, now I'm feeling it get a little bit more pliable. Alright, so place it on your oiled piece of parchment paper. Transfer your sausage to roughly about the center of the sheet, like so. Next, fold over the edges, like that. Fold over the top, and then roll it up. And place your sausage on another piece of oil brushed parchment paper. There we go. There's one. And just make sure I've got that right. Actually, I was wrong, but you will see in a second how I was wrong, and I'll just... So, grab another sausage. With your tongs, they're still a bit warm. And by warm, it's actually the wrapping that's pretty darn hot. So, because foil is metal. Metal conducts heat. It's hot, yo. So, oh gosh, I've got a spammer. So let's get rid of you. Can I get rid of you? Ban. Yeah, banned. Okay. So, it sounds like our oven is preheated. Perfect timing. Okay, there's another sausage. No. Another sheet of rice paper. Just stick that in there for about 5 to 7 seconds. Make sure all of it gets wet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You kind of want to wait until it starts to feel more pliable. So there we go. Yeah. All right. So sausage in the middle. Fold it over once. Tuck in the edges. And then, nope, that's not going to work. I like the first way better, so like a burrito. Sides in first, then fold over. Like so. And then, wrap it up. Transfer to your other work thing. And get rid of steaming wrapping. Easy as that. It only sounds difficult. I mean, once you actually see it done and try it, it's pretty darn easy. So, let's go ahead and get this one unwrapped. All right. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Center, fold over the edges, fold over the top, and then roll it up like a cigar. There we go. And make sure to space them on your parchment paper so they don't stick together. Hi, Princess. Now my little calico girl is back. And she's squeaking at Mommy. Okay. As you can see, the sausages are now a little bit cooler and easier handle. There we go. Another rice paper sheet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There we go. There. To there. Center. Sides. Oh. This is probably a little bit longer. So let's do more of a cigar wrap with this. So fold over once, cigar wrap the sides, and then roll up the rest. There we go. I just have 2 more to do, which I'm going to leave on the board once I'm done rolling them. Okay. Rice paper sheet. Into the water. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There we are. Sausage. Fold over, edges in. So keep this in mind, if it's more on the shorter side, a burrito wrap works well, while if it's on the longer side, wrap it like a cigar. And this is the cigar method I'm showing you right here. Like so. Okay. And one more. Okay. All right. And last piece of rice paper. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. More. There we are. Yep. Cigar roll it is. So fold over once, fold sides in, and roll. There we go. And that's your last sausage. So I'm just going to move some of these over so I have a little bit more of a stable surface to work with. And I'm going to empty this out because I don't need the water anymore, but I'm going to keep the bowl to put the finished sausages in. So now, I'm going to go ahead and preheat my oven. Preheat my skillet. I've already preheated my oven. Preheat my skillet on medium heat for about 3 minutes. Now, if you're using an electric stovetop, chances are it's going to take a little bit longer for your pan to heat up. So I would go for a preheating time of about 5 minutes at that point, but for gas, which is what I have, I'm going for about 3 minutes. So I'm going to light that, set it on medium heat, and set a timer for about 3 minutes. And while I'm waiting on that, I need to get my fries into the oven. So I'm just going to put together a sheet of about, let's go for about 3 servings of fries. So, frozen fries, they're over here. Okay, in the freezer, because that's where they're supposed to be. So, skizzers. That's about, roughly about 3. A little bit more. I'm just going to put in a single layer. Okay. Do I need to boil this first? No, I don't. Bake 9 minutes and continue. Okay. I should have put these in earlier. Alright, so timer, 9 minutes. I'll make the time work. Alright, so got about 1.5 minutes left on that skillet. Just gonna move some things off that I don't need anymore. The steamer basket. Don't need that. Don't need this pot of boiling water. And, oh boy. Oof. Let's get a little bit cleaned up around here. Don't need cooking spray anymore. Alright, and we are a good hot pan. Let me go ahead and show you so you can see what I'm talking about. There we go. So, first, you can see what I'm doing here. See that tablespoon of oil that I talked about earlier? I'm just gonna oil one side of each of these sausages and put it oil side down into the pan. Make sure you support them before moving so it doesn't break in half on you as you're transferring it to the pan. And you're going to want to cook these for a total about 7 to 10 minutes. So make sure to flip about 3 or 4 minute mark. So I'm going to set about 3.5 minutes. That's not a timer, that's the microwave. Timer, 3.5 minutes. So, God, I should have switched the camera over. You can see what I mean right there. There we are. So, just to reiterate, I put vegetable oil on one side and went ahead and put it in the very hot pan and set a timer for about 3.5 minutes. And I have a timer on my fries. So while I am waiting for that, sausages to cook, Actually, we could probably... Yeah, stay. Yeah. Brush that with a little bit more oil. I mean, turn as you cook. So it browns and crisps up all sides. But like I said, you still want to cook this for about a total of 7 to 10 minutes. So switch these over. Clean up my workspace some. I'm just going to pour a little bit more vegetable oil into this bowl. I think it's going to need a little bit more oil than I have on it. Generally, you want to have this cooked until it's brown on all sides. And that includes the ends, as you can see. So. There we go. Just turn down the heat just a little bit. Okay. Pot holder. Need a pot holder for my fries. Okay, that would be my fries, which now I just need to take from the oven. Give those a toss. Something better than a pair of tongs, obviously. Okay. Okay, it sounds like sausages are ready to take off the pan. Fries, however, use another 7 minutes, I believe. Let me recheck the bag on that. Oh god, did I leave these out? Crap. I'll be fine. 7 minutes. Perfect. Okay. Let's get these off. There we go. Here's one. It's good and grilled. There's 3. Alright. Now, just need to transfer these. Brush with oil. And just kind of cook these for a total of 7 minutes. So I'm just going to go ahead and put that timer on 7 and keep an eye on it while I cook. A little bit of oil to my bowl so I can brush it as needed. In the meantime, look at that. Isn't that pretty? That's going to taste excellent, I think. Okay. Whew. In the meantime, I should be getting my plating together. So I decided, for Shadowrun, especially since this is a street food, little half a styrofoam tray. I think that's going to look pretty interesting. Go back to grilling. All right. Ooh, scotch. Mmm. Tasty, tasty scotch. Just want to make sure that everything is browned on all sides. That's the biggest thing. There we are. Whew. I think it's time for some more water. One of the middle's looking rather good. A nice bit of browning on that. It sounds like my fries are done. So, just have to clear a space for them over here. Get some trivets out. I want to say this one looks probably the most like a sausage. Okay, that would be the fries. Shut those off. Those can use another 2 minutes, I think. I'll do that for another 2 minutes. Okay. We have less than that on these sausages, which is good. Okay. Okay. Whew. We're almost there, folks. Okay. should be done now. Awesome. Sausages. And my fries are done too. So, let's get those out of the oven. All right. And that a quick clean. There we go. All right, now final bit, plating. So I'm gonna make about 3 servings, 2 for me, and 2, sorry, well technically yes, 2 for me and 1 for my husband, one of which will be for the photo. So technically I am not being a greedy pig. So, just gonna divvy up my fries here. And I will add more, depending on how much fits into my serving plate. So, now that I've got my currywurst, I've got to pick out the most photogenic ones, which I'm thinking this one. It's pretty darn photogenic. Let's see. So it's this one, kind of. And let's say this one. Alright, so the way that currywurst is traditionally served is that it's sliced up and smothered in ketchup and curry powder. And you eat it with a toothpick, dipping it into said curry ketchup. Oh, that is hot. Okay. So, got my tongs, got my knife. So let's see how these slice. Might even be enough for 2 sausages a serving. This right. Okay, there's one. Let's see how this one did. To kind of pierce the skin first before slicing, otherwise it kind of tempted to use a serrated knife at this point. Might have to. Let's see how that works. Nope, that just tears it up. That's... So far, it's probably the most picturesque. Okay, so let's go ahead and glob some ketchup into my tray. Put in the prettiest pieces. There we go. Oh, let's go with one that's a little bit more crusty and charred, I think, like that. Yeah, that looks good. Okay. So. Let's add another piece. Let's see if we're still able to see that. There we go. That's looking good. Now I just need to finish that off. With a sprinkle curry powder. And there you go. What was the name I called this thing again? Kreuzberg Currywurst. And make sure to serve, of course, with a toothpick. Or, a wooden sword if you have it. Like, not little cocktail swords if you have it. There you go. Looking perfect. A little bit more ketchup on there. There you go. I would like to thank you for joining me on this week's episode of Munchies and Minis. I hope you enjoyed today's recipe. Shadowrun Dragonfall inspired Kreuzberg Currywurst. Next week I should be doing another recipe from the Shadowrun series of video games. Either that or a recipe from Rickety Stitch, the graphic novel D&D inspired graphic novel series. Haven't quite decided yet, but it's gonna really all depend on which recipe I happen to write up first. Anyway, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. Thank you for joining me, and as always, stay safe, stay sane, and stay you. My name is Catherine Barsonistas, and this has been the Gluttonous Geek Presents Munchies and Minis. Have a great night.